Today, we're diving into a really deep paradox. How did the civilization that was literally sparked by the command read end up in a massive reading crisis? Well, the whole story starts with one single, incredibly powerful word: Iqra. In Islam, this was the very first word of revelation. Think about that. Not worship, not believe, but read. This one command was the spark that lit the fire for one of the most amazing transformations in all of human history. And the results? It was absolutely mind-blowing. The source material points out that in less than 30 years, a pretty simple society was shot from the sidelines right to the center of the world stage. It was a total cultural and intellectual explosion, and it was all launched from that one simple instruction: read. Okay, but that incredible history is exactly what makes the reality of today so jarring. The civilization of Iqra has become, if you look at the numbers, a nation that just doesn't read. And the data is honestly staggering. So let's just start with this finding from the Arab Thought Foundation. The average European reads for about 200 hours a year. Okay, makes sense. But the average Arab citizen? 6 minutes. Not 6 minutes a day, 6 minutes per year. And get this, that number is actually going down. Let's look at it a different way, by how much is actually read. An international study found the average American reads about 11 books a year. Someone in the UK reads about 7, and the average Arab citizen, a quarter of a page annually. Yeah, just let that sink in for a second. A quarter of one page. To put that into perspective, it would take the combined annual reading of 220 Arab citizens just to equal what one American reads. For one British citizen, you'd need 140. The scale of this gap it's almost hard to even wrap your head around. And the crisis goes even deeper than just reading habits. According to a UNICEF report, this number, 70 million, that's how many Arabs are still illiterate. A third of them are women and children. So this isn't just about culture, it's a fundamental crisis of knowledge. So after seeing data this devastating, you can't help but ask the question, right? What on earth happened? How did we get from a civilization literally founded on reading to this? Now, you might think the answer is some complex geopolitical thing or a huge economic issue, but according to the source material, the answer is something much more fundamental, and it starts in the very first years of a child's life. Research from the University of Chicago is so important here. It shows that the single biggest factor in shaping a kid's brain isn't their genes, it's their early experiences. Brain imaging actually shows that within seconds of reading to a young child, thousands of their brain cells just light up, building connections that are going to last for their entire life. And this right here shows us exactly where the solution is. If the problem starts in childhood, well, so does the answer. The power of reading for kids it's totally transformative. This early window of opportunity is just so critical. Studies show that in their first 7 years, a child develops a staggering 80% of their core values and behaviors. This period basically defines their relationship with learning for the rest of their life. And the benefits are just huge. Early reading builds eloquence, logical thinking, it fosters empathy, and it really strengthens that bond between a parent and child. It makes sure that reading is seen as a joy, not some chore you have to do. Plus, study after study confirms that kids who are read to consistently do better in school than their peers, all the way through university. So how do we rebuild a culture of reading? Well, the path forward really means we have to consciously shift what we prioritize as a society. The author of our source material makes this really sharp, kind of sarcastic point. He says, in the West, libraries are these vibrant cultural centers, buzzing with activity like beehives. Meanwhile, he jokes pretty grimly, the mission in the Arab world seems to be building a mall for every citizen. It's a really stark critique of where we're placing our value. And this is really the ultimate takeaway. Bringing back the spirit of this civilization doesn't actually require some complex top-down plan from the government. It just means we need to go back to the very beginning, with individuals, with families, and with communities, choosing to obey that first command. Because in the end, the word that started everything holds the key to its renewal. The most profound revolutions often start with the simplest of acts: read.